I'm sorry that what you had to go through in order to get to the invention, but we got it. Oh, we got a spit take too.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you for your pain.
Yes.
If you could just go through a windshield, and then it'll come out in a better story at the end. Yeah.
I am very, 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 very pleased and so honored to be introducing the one and only Dean Haglund.
Hey!
It's you!
Hey! Hello!
How's it going, Dean?
Good. How are you guys?
We are so excited. We've been looking forward to this since, I mean, like I said, it kind of happened.
7?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
But
we just so happened to have this date available. You were available, and now it is all happening.
I know, that's amazing. I was like, oh, I had forgot to reply to your email because everything was crazy. And then I was like, oh, right, I got to get on the show. And then it's like, oh, hey, somebody canceled. Oh, yeah, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
And
this is
my brother's
so
gonna be
exciting.
so jealous.
Oh yeah, this is very exciting. I met you in passing at X Fest, which was very awesome, and your panel was so much fun. It was X Fest in near Chicago-ish.
Yeah, outside of Chicago, Naperville or whatever.
Yeah, so
somewhere.
hopefully we get another one going sometime soon. But we kind of, obviously we want to chat about the X-Files, but we want to chat about you as well, because you are so diverse. You got a lot going on, Dean.
Got a lot going on all of a sudden.
A lot going on. So let's start with yesterday, I believe, was the conclusion of season 2 of Chillpak Hollywood. So let's start there.
Let's start there with we don't determine when our seasons are. So season 1 was actually 13 years long, and then season 2 was just another 2 years long.
Sure.
So maybe season 3 is just a couple episodes, or we go back again. Well, so Chillpak Hollywood Hour started as a podcast in 2007, I'm going to say. Is that 15 years ago?
Yeah, 2007 is
yeah. So we started because we had adjoining offices, and we would come in Monday morning and just talk about movies we saw and stuff like that. And then our assistant at the time goes, "Oh, hey, you know what? This would be good. Would this be a good podcast?" And then so we started just recording Monday morning, just chatting about what we did in Hollywood all week, and then it sort of became a thing. And then the thing just never stopped. And I got to hand it to Phil Lernes. We've co-produced, we co-wrote a whole sorts of things. He's the organizer of it. He's the one that has maintained while I lived in Australia for 4 years. Wow. He made sure the show kept going. He's, we'd be on projects. And he has a portable recorder. We have a big setup. I bought him a mixer for Christmas this year because our other mixer was from Craigslist from 2007. That was, and he had to smash it all the time. Yeah. So as a gift, after 15 years, I went, here's a mixer for $89. Please don't start hitting the old mixer that we got on Craigslist. That's just travesty. So what do we talk about? We talk about stuff in Hollywood, movies, celebrity deaths, school closures, anything, just whatever's happening in our careers, lives, Hollywood, as we do Hollywood remotely.
I mean, I have to say though, it's super impressive, because I feel like you guys were kind of ahead of the curve, because podcasting, didn't, I mean, 2007 is pretty early to start a podcast, and the fact that it's still going 15 years later, that's incredibly impressive.
Yes.
Well, there was a first wave actually. So we were kind of in the middle of a wave of podcasting that was using early free software like Audacity. I don't even know.
That's still a thing.
Is that still a thing?
Believe you me, it is.
and then GarageBand. And so we were just putting it up on different web servers and stuff, I'm going to say. And people were just finding it oddly. And they would have an email list and we just sort of blasted out like that. But then all of that original group realized, man, it's really hard doing a show week after week, organizing it, producing it, getting it together, finding, your co-hosts in front of a microphone. Holy smokes, that's a lot of work. And yet here you go, 15 years, it can happen. So we sort of like crested the wave, and because we kept going and everyone else sort of said to heck with it, then now here we are. It seems like we're the grandfathers of podcasting.
And how lucky we are. And you mentioned that for multiple years you were in Australia. I don't think people realize that's so difficult, because Australia is like in another like dimension when it comes to time. It's like you're in tomorrow when we're in yesterday. Like that's
true. You cross an international date line when you fly there. In fact, I had a birthday and I flew the day before my birthday, and I landed the day after my birthday. So that year I didn't have a birthday.
No.
I didn't age. It was like
fabulous.
It's that crossing the international date line that does it. Yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, we had to coordinate. It took, and you land there, you got to find a place, you got to move all your stuff. It's got to come from overseas. And in the middle of that, you got to plug in and get your microphone and everything up and start a show like the day, 2 days after you're set foot on a new country. It was tricky. All right. So yeah, I think I was getting up early and he was late. So my Saturday morning was his Friday night, and then we would record something like that. So it was weird as a heck. Yeah.
Wow.
We should try that.
Yeah, try that. So first move to a country on the other side of the equator, across the international date line.
Okay, Danica, you go. I'm staying.
All right. Okay.
And then find out what your time zone is. And yeah, it took a lot, but we did it.
I mean, it's hard enough who did we have that was in Sweden when we talked to them?
Oh, Ryan Roxy from Alice Cooper's band. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out
8 hours difference.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, right? And I talk to my friends in London all the time, and we're like, okay, so what time? And I have to look at my iPhone to see all my different time zones to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's very tricky for sure.
Yep.
Well, we're going to pivot a little bit, and I wanted to mention for people who are not aware, and I don't know how they could not be, but check out Dean's Instagram, because, oh my God, this man is an incredible visual artist. If you have not seen it, wow. First of all, wow. But so the big questions here are, do you have a favorite particular either medium or particular type of paint that you like to work with? Are you oil? Are you gouache? Are you acrylic?
I kind of all over. Is this confusing everybody? What you're looking at on my studio side is actually an oil side on the far end, and those canvases hang vertically, so I can move them as they hang on vertical pieces of wood with a 45-degree hook, so it just hooks in. So I keep my oils on that side, and then this drafting table here, slowly I move the table. This is my watercolor side. So this is
nice.
a table. I paint generally off the iPad, but then I also have the bigger monitor for larger landscapes and stuff like that. And so this allows me to, when I'm waiting for that to dry, go pick up the oils, do that, do back and forth. And then over here, this is going to be,
shift
on the table. These are plein air kits that I've been putting together, and I have a 3-year-old Doberman now, and I've spent the last year taking the Doberman for a walk and then making him sit with a treat while I paint for 30, so that he's very patient and not running off, and I don't have to worry about him. So I think we got it just to the place. So I spent an entire year painting the same scene at a park bench for an entire year as the year changed here in Michigan. And then she sat eating a little treat. And then, so now she's kind of used to me just sitting there with brushes and stuff. And she just looks around at the squirrels and stuff and doesn't run away. So
that's the most impressive part. Yes, because my God, I've got 2 dogs, and the minute you even mention the word squirrel, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah. And I was painting a river scene, and across the river 2 deer. So and she was like, and it's a Doberman, so a Doberman's gonna run after. And like the river wasn't that deep, she could have taken off, but she stayed and just put the one paw up like a hunting dog. And like there's deer.
Hey.
Yeah, they calmly walk by, and she didn't chase. and it was like
So
light. So we're on to the next stage where I take the, I don't know, easels and all of that stuff, take larger, because I was just doing a small kit kind of thing, and it had a little I'll show you. Hang on.
Okay.
Ooh, yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hold, please.
This is the cutest little thing. So, like your watch,
Okay. Yeah.
it
It's like
goes on your wrist, and then it opens up, and it's little paints, little. Look at adorable. So you just have it on your wrist, and then you can hold your thing on one hand, and then just paint. Oh, this has been the most joyous little thing. And then you just fold it up, and it looks like you have a very silly, large sci-fi watch. And nobody says
Oh,
anything.
that's so cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that thing. So that's what I've been working with for a whole year.
Wow.
And now, and it was all little 5x7. So now it'll be larger work
Nice.
coming out, which will go on Instagram. And that's why the Instagram hasn't had anything in about a year. I guess the last stuff was all my knee surgery, probably, right?
A little bit, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was, I had an artificial knee put in Australia, and then I was on a lot of drugs, and so I brought my sketch pad with me, and then just drew everything over the 3 days I was in the hospital.
Wow.
So
that
would you say that your style changed during that time in the hospital, or was it?
No, you know what? It actually just kind of focused on looking and seeing what's immediately in front of you and finding the composition and the art in that thing, right? So you got a monitor that they had me all plugged in, and I actually said, "Hey, leave that here." They were taking away at 3:00 in the morning, and I said to the night nurse, "Just leave that. I'm going to draw this. I'm going to paint that." And she's like, "What?" And it had, like, it was actually kind of a fascinating piece, because it was what you would normally just go as a piece of junk that's on a rolling
Equipment.
thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you line it right with all the wires and stuff like that, it was kind of like one of my favorite pieces. So
Cool.
it was therapeutic, and a way of really forcing you to see what's immediately in front of you to make it a piece of work.
It's very
No,
cool.
it's awesome that that's where your brain takes you, because
Mhm.
most of the time people probably recovering in a hospital are just, binge watching Family Feud and Price is Right. And here you are painting monitors. So,
Yeah.
good for you accomplishing a lot.
Not to belittle Australian television, but
Oh, yeah, Australia.
their
Yeah,
daytime
yeah.
TV is it needs some work.
Yeah.
There's an ongoing soap opera called Neighbors.
Neighbors. Yeah.
You know Neighbors?
Yes, I'm aware. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't get through a whole episode of that stuff. I'm sorry.
Is
got
it as
great
good
reviews.
as I have to know? Is it as good as The
Coronation
Only Way is
Street?
Essex?
Oh, yeah. No.
Is it as good?
Is it as good? No, it's worse.
Okay.
Didn't like Chris Hemsworth or something start on Neighbors? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh, some big names came through there, because
yeah.
they have to basically cast every Australian actor who's ever lived, because they have such a big churn of like so many stories, and people soon as they do like 2 or 3 great episodes, then they get a movie, and then they just get killed off. It's like, oh my God.
What a run.
What a run. I know.
Yeah, what a run.
Fantastic.
Well, Danica, now another reason to go to Australia. Maybe we could be on a soap opera.
Yeah, right.
We are very dramatic.
I could act.
so-
What the hell?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Daytime soap operas.
yeah.
I had an agent there. He was saying they were going to get me on Neighbors, and I'm like, nah. Well, don't work too hard. But okay, yeah, sure.
Hey, you never know.
You
Might
never
get you
know.
on there. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of acting, we
Yes.
wanted to talk a little bit. We saw on your IMDb
Ooh.
an upcoming documentary called Chair. So we wanted to ask about this. Is this a real thing? Because we always like to, make sure.
Yeah.
And what
Yes.
you can tell us a little bit. It's supposedly about the history and style of improv. So
Yeah.
what can you tell us about Chair?
So, do you know about Knoxville, Tennessee, and the theater there that's had the longest running improv group? And the group is
No.
called The Chair, and they have a sketch based
How
on
do I
the
not
chair.
know this? Oh my
I
god.
don't know. You're in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, but I'm also a theater director. That's
So
embarrassing.
I actually only heard about it, but I was there doing a sci-fi convention in Knoxville, and they came up to me and they go, "Do you know about Chair?" I go, "Yeah, sort of." And
I
then,
sit in those.
yeah, I sit in those. But
Very
it's
comfortable.
a form of improv where it's the person's in the chair, and then why are they in the chair, and you build your scene out from the chair.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's been ongoing. Now I'm gonna get the number wrong, but it's over 20 years, and it's had different actors and improvisers come in, but there's been a solid group of, I think, 3 that have been doing it for a long time, and it's really popular. Knoxville, they sell out their shows all the time, and yeah, you'll see the whole documentary. It's quite fascinating, actually.
That's
so it's
cool.
funny that that's on IMDb, because that was like a year ago. I did my talk about chair and what you know about it, and I'm like, oh well, this is what I know. And then they're like, great, we'll cut you in. And like, you think, oh, that'll never do. And now you say, no, oh, it's on IMDb. It's coming.
You made it, Dean. You made it. Congratulations.
Hooray.
You did it. You did
Yeah.
it. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was in an improv group for 15
Yes.
years, right? Vancouver Theatre Sports, which was also where Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery, Gary Jones from Stargate, he and I were friends. Who's other big names that came through? Ellie Harvey, Christine Lippa. You see them all the time on all sorts of shows that were shot in Vancouver. And it was just such a fabulous theater. And from, I guess, the moment I got out of university with my theater degree, I was doing 10 shows a week for 4.5 years. Yeah.
Good Lord.
I know. I think about
you
that.
need a nap, Dean.
Suck on that, Broadway. 10 shows a week.
10 shows a week, because there was afternoon shows in the summer at the city fair. It's called the Pacific National Exhibition. So I would start at 10 a.m. doing shows there, then get to the theater, perform till about on the weekends. It was till 1:30, 2 in the morning.
Oh.
And I know. And you'd have crowds and sold out audiences. So you're like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And so it was sort of my Beatles in Hamburg training stage, right? So
there you go.
So after that, then I could there was no fear after that. Like I had done kind of the gamut of all. We did a 24-hour improv show. Yeah. You stayed on stage the whole time. You done that, Danica?
I've not done it because it sounds like the worst thing I can imagine.
Okay. It's fun, and then it gets not fun, and then it gets super fun, and then you crash. Yeah. And then you get to this giddy stage where your brain's not working anymore. And that's where this magical improv stuff happens of like, what are we doing on the moon in the, doom buggy, whatever, anybody's suggesting stuff, and you're taking it. And because you are so, all the layers of conscious thought or, hey, this might work or whatever, all gone. And you are just free flowing, improvising into another world. It's magical, actually, but it takes about 19 to 22 hours to get there. So it's the last 2 hours that are spectacular.
Well, it's interesting. You're talking about kind of, you get to a point, everything goes out the window. Traditionally they're like, yes, and these are the tips and tricks. These are the things you have to do. Is there like a specific thing? Is there like a format that you personally like to follow, or do you just kind of throw it all out the window and say?
Yeah, well, when I do my one-man improv, I have a set games. They're there's actor's nightmare, there's arms expert, there's moving people, right? Or puppets, right? Where somebody moves your limbs. So I do that as my one-man X-Files episode that I toured the world in. But anytime I go to a sci-fi convention, they say, oh, you got 45 minutes to speak. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to improvise the show.
Love it. Yeah.
So I never actually answer any fan questions at all. And then I just do my show and everybody like, hooray. And then I film it and burned it to disc and then would sell it back to them. So there was never a time where it's like, you're on stage going, in episode 123, what was the thing that you were doing with your t-shirt? I've never answered.
That's my next question. Okay, hold on. Let me.
No. I'm improvising. Give me a reason. I have a comb. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. It's funny because you mentioned Actor's Nightmare. I know you said that was the name of one of your games, but before we started today, I was telling Danica, frequently I have the Actor's Nightmare, right? Like, and I haven't done a play in a while. All the time, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all my lines. Why aren't I wearing my outfit? You know, do you frequently have these, Dean? Like, do you experience? No.
That's the thing. Once you start doing that as an improv game, the anxiety and the subconscious anxiety dissipates so much so that you're kind of looking forward to being in a state of unknowingness on stage in front of a group of people. This is sort of a precipice that me as an improviser loves to get to, because once you then stumble into whatever the next thing is, generally it's so surprising to myself, to the audience, to everybody, that the energy just kicks through the roof, and it's a great show. Yeah, but you have to be in that state. And do 10 shows a year for 4.5 years of improv, where you
get on it.
Yeah,
I have to go.
That's
yeah. Okay.
But you get to that state where you know the unknowing is going to be the gold on stage, and so you go continually to the unknown. As scary as it seems, once you realize there's no fear, then you are always craving that. So your ability to have an anxiety dream about being on stage not knowing is the very opposite. It's like, oh, I'm on stage and I don't know what I'm going to do. Hooray! This is going to be hilarious.
Okay.
Right?
Have you ever taught improv?
I have. I don't like. Well, I've been told my teaching style is terrible because I'm always very positive, and I always say that's great after seeing when I mean it wasn't great at all. There's lots of problems with it, but also I've had improv teachers that just go, no, terrible, that was awful, and you go, okay, you know what? I'm not learning anything, and I hate you.
Yeah.
So I would tell my students, I go, okay, after the scene, I'm going to say it was great, and then we're going to go over things you did right, but there'll be many things you did wrong. You keep that in your head. Don't belittle yourself. Let's only focus on the stuff you do right and use that as your grounding in the improv to move forward, right? So we're going to say the scene was great, even though it stunk. We're going to say these are the good things you did. Hang on to those. And then everything else was terrible. And I'm not going to tell you that, because that's all you're going to hear, right? You only hear the negative feedback.
Then I have some critiques for you.
Danica, if we had a teacher like Dean, if we had a teacher like Dean, maybe we would still be doing improv. Because
funny side note, I have to teach an improv class in like a month.
Oh no.
To a class of communication students.
Or are you just doing what are you doing? Like, are you focusing on narrative improv? Or are you doing just
such a good question?
Yes, and
and over and over.
Zip, zap, zop. Yeah.
I don't even like zip, zap, zop. My warm up, and I always think this is the most important warm up in teaching. And this is for you, Danica. It's called "What Are You Doing?" And you start in a circle, right? And somebody says, "What are you doing?" "I'm digging a hole." Then they mime digging a hole. While they're still miming the digging the hole, the next person beside them asks, what are they doing? They have to keep digging the hole, but say something completely different. I'm flying a kite. So that you start having physical.
Oh, I remember this.
You remember this?
Yes.
This is, to me, the key to improv, is to have your brain lateral in lateral thought, so that even if you're doing something you are thinking something else in the scene, so that if you're doing a scene where everybody's just all stuck in we're all doing plumbing on the toilet, you have to have something in your brain going, oh, the scene needs next a car crash, right, or whatever, but you have to have the brain sectioned off so that you're not everybody's, oh, I can't think of anything because I'm fixing a toilet. You have to have the flexibility, and that warm up is the best for brain flexibility.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Danica, write this down.
It's written.
You
It shall be
remember,
rich.
always
Well-
open, always warm up your class with what are you doing?
Love it.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
There you go. So that you could just
I
do
have,
that.
I have a friend that works for that did work for IO in Chicago, the Improv
yeah.
Olympics,
Yeah.
and still teaches improv and stuff in different places. And I was like, I should call him and find out what to do.
Well, did
Why do
you
I
took
say yes to
improv
this?
classes? Where did you take improv?
I never actually. Well, that's. I guess that's not true.
We did at University Center for the Performing
Okay,
Arts.
well,
Let's
I
not
don't know if that
undersell
counts.
ourselves.
We were a hot 12 years old, so
Okay,
let's put that on the back burner.
But it was a class.
I mean,
and we
I've
took
done
it.
like undergrad and I guess some grad school because I also teach contact improv.
Oh
That's
my
one
gosh.
of, that's one of my favorite things, but it doesn't really involve the
No.
brain.
Brain. No, it involves don't kill yourself
just
when you're up
body.
on the other person's shoulder.
That's right.
Yeah. And then make sure you know how to energetically let them
Mhm.
down. Because I was doing contact improv in the 90s
Oh, yeah.
and everybody wanted it to be so spectacular. And so I would always have, 110 pounds of a female dancer doing way lots of energy. And then invariably she would go over my head and then I would drop her and she would fall on the floor and injure herself. And then I would be the blame.
Well, don't get up there. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, you got up there. I know. I'm actually doing Pilates now to get over all my 90s dance and movement work that was very detrimental to the human body.
I did want to ask about that. It mentioned so we'll talk about this in a second, but
Sure.
Because you are also an inventor, which most actors cannot say,
Right.
But that on the history behind your invention, it mentions your history of modern dance, and I was like, is that true?
It's
I
true.
have to know more.
You
Please tell me
do?
more.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever you want to tell us, we'll take.
So my degree is actually as a multidisciplinary performance artist. So I don't have a theater degree. I have a very rare
You have an interdisciplinary.
performance art, multidisciplinary performance artist degree. And I went to the only university in Canada that offered it. And so I trained in visual art, theater, filmmaking, and modern dance and ballet.
That's
all
amazing.
Yeah, it was a grueling it was a grueling 4-6 years of university.
You must have very good posture.
I do. I get complimented on it in Pilates. However, all the rib and pelvis stuff is way out of alignment. So that's another issue. And hence why I have all those surgical knee paintings on my Instagram, also from modern dance. I did very, very experimental stuff. I recall being on a sheet of plastic in the dark in the woods, covered in water, that only had one light, and people just walking from the university to the parking lot would see figures barely lit in water in really cold Canadian, like in the winter, us just writhing around. Nobody stopped to watch. They just looked over, thought, there's some weirdos in the water on plastic. But, that was the whole point. Are you performing? If a tree falls in the forest, does it make sound? If you're performing and no one sees you, are you a performer? Right? Right? So
the everlasting question of theater.
I know. And then
I have to ask, was that for a company called Pilabolus? Because it sounds like what they do.
Oh my gosh. So you've been there then, have you?
My husband actually was the tech director for American Dance Festival a couple of years ago and told me all about their final scene, which is literally they spread, I want to say it's just baby oil literally all over the stage and just slide around naked on it. That's the whole final scene.
Naked. Okay,
Yeah.
We had clothes on for that.
I mean, you can't do it with clothes on. That would be ludicrous.
I would pass that class. I'm available. What?
Except the problem with that and the water and plastic is that if you are not fully stretched in every direction, you'll have pulls. I'm not saying groin pull is a real thing, but it's a real thing that happens. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but okay. So here's the story of how I invented the invention.
Yes.
based on from my story of modern dance. Okay, so this choreographer was going to have this really cool show, and it was kind of cool. She had a 68 Valiant, and she loved this car. And so what she wanted was, for the beginning of the dance show, the usher had everyone stand out in the street in front of the theater, just milling around, not knowing what the deal was. I, not telling anybody that I was in this dance show piece, stood in the crowd as well on the sidewalk. Slowly around the corner came a 68 Valiant with seemingly no one driving it. All the dancers were hidden in the seats. They crouched down, and the guy was using the rearview mirror to steer towards the crowd. His cue to stop was me running out of the audience and then jumping up on the hood, looking like I got hit by the Valiant, rolling up onto the windshield so that he could see my body, hit the brakes, put it in park, then turn on the radio. That would be the music. Then 6 dancers get out, dance, tumble all over the 68 Valiant. And then I would also join in the choreography. And then we'd all just jump in and drive off. And then everybody, they thought it was a brilliant show. Everybody loved it.
It sounds
right?
cool.
It does sound, it was actually
really cool.
It was a really cool show. So then the street festival in Vancouver said, oh, we want that piece in the street festival. We want you to come down the center of the street while everybody's at the crafts and the kiosks and stuff. And you do that show and just sort of bring the whole crowd together in the center of the street festival. And they go, okay, let's do that. But the choreographer said, my 68 Valiant got so beat up by you dancers knocking all over it, we got to get a different car. So she went to a car dealership and said, hey, we're dancers, will you sponsor us? And he said, yeah, on the lot, here's a 76 Cordoba with a white vinyl roof. And it's like a car that's 3 times the size of the Valiant. Oh. And what's also interesting is the window angle of the Valiant is like this, and the Cordoba is like that. So when I ran out of the crowd, I rolled up in the window and then went through the window. Oh. The whole window gave way to my body weight.
Oh, no.
And it was now glass everywhere. Oh. I rolled off, and then all the dancers said, well, let's go. And then we're rubbing our hands through glass, and there's blood everywhere. And there's blood on the white vinyl.
Very roof. Artistic, yeah.
Oh, and this is what everybody's saying. Oh, this is a comment about the car culture and the environment.
Yeah, this is part of it.
Yeah. Very Yoko Ono.
Yeah. And they're all like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a stuntman, Mr. Haglund." I'm not. I just went through the windshield. I don't know how. And then we had to, yeah. So from that, hence a knee injury. And
no kidding. Why?
Thank God that, I mean, God forbid it was, you know.
Yeah, right. And
so we do for art.
I know, it was so ridiculous. And what everybody thought the show was amazing and said, oh, let's do it again. And we want you to go through the windshield again. I go,
pass.
No, no, we're not doing any of that.
No and.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's how the knee injury started. And then the invention, the Chillpak, was a laptop cooling system. So on the X-Files, we got invited by Apple Computers to the launch of OS 10. Now I'm aging myself, right? I know.
Futuristic.
Oh my gosh, they flew us up to a big hangar. I met I didn't meet Steve, but everybody I met all the engineers, and they said, oh my gosh, the computers, here's the problem for the next 15, 20 years for computers. They're going to have to be faster, smaller, and they're just going to get hotter. And they're going to ruin performance. And there isn't enough fans in the world that will get these computers to a part where they're going to be performing fast enough with the heat dissipating from the processors. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Anyway, I'm drinking. And then I had my laptop, and I'm watching a movie, and I'm also have a knee injury. So I have a cool gel pack on my knee, and I'm watching the laptop, and it locks up, the screen locks up, and the processor, all of that locks up. So I'm like, oh man. And I pick it off the table and I put it on my knee to do something else, and the damn thing starts up again. And I go, aha, the direct application of cold to the processor allows it to run. So I made basically a gel pack with a padding underneath, and then it had an anti-fog material over it, so it didn't have condensation. And I won a silver medal at the International Inventors Expo in Geneva, Switzerland.
Oh my God.
I know, sold a ton of them, sold the patent, and then they shelved it because they put out some most stupid fan thing. And that was the last I ever saw of the Chillpak. So
well, my husband, when I mentioned it, he went, "Oh yeah, man, I remember that. That was one of the coolest things I'd ever heard of."
Oh, wow.
Literally coolest. Yeah.
The coolest. Yeah, ironically. Yeah, I don't know if they plan to one day. I mean, the architecture changed so much, and we use so much more ceramic than silicon now, and so the heat dissipates, and the way they manage electricity now has changed so much in the chips. Heat's still a problem, but it's not as bad a problem as it was back at OS 10. I know.
Wow.
Funny story. Right?
I mean, I'm sorry that what you had to go through in order to get to the invention, but we got it. Oh, we got a spit take too.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you for your pain.
Yes.
If you could just go through a windshield, and then it'll come out in a better story at the end. Yeah,
we never know what we'll get, So
it's true. It's true. You'll never know how it all works out.
You never know.
Right.
Well, so Dean, Danica and I think we're each going to ask you one more question, and then we have a game we're going to play.
Oh, yay.
If that's cool. Yay. Okay. So how about if you could go to any fictional place in existence, or if you would like to make it up, where would you like to go?
Fictional place. Do you know the artwork of Roger Dean?
Yes.
You
His
do?
album covers. Wait, album covers for Hold on. Not the Who. Wait.
No, the band's called Yes.
It's called
Yes.
It's for Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Right.
Yes. For Yes. Okay.
And he, his art book, I got as a teenager for Christmas, and I was obsessed with this guy. And I would redraw the islands floating in the sky, and water castles with waterfalls, moonlit, and stuff like that. And they were spectacular. And in fact, he was very angry at the movie Avatar because of those floating islands when they were coming. And that was a complete ripoff of Roger Dean, and he never got credit out. Anyway, that fictional place would be Roger Dean's artwork would be the place that I want to go. It's so magical. If you don't, everybody watching, pause right now. Oh no, you can't pause. Don't say that.
I was going to mention, Kid Cat might actually know who that is and remember this, because the way that I was introduced to it is probably the same way that you were, through Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie.
Okay.
When they're in this island Earth, they go to Metaluna.
That's right. Oh,
okay.
And you hear them say, looks like a Roger Dean album cover. And you're like, yeah, they're very into Yes on this planet.
Okay.
Right. And then everybody started typing,
Metaluna.
who's Roger Dean? Yeah, I met him at Comic-Con in Atlanta a number of years ago, and he signed my book. And I said,
cool.
I told him how much he was an influence, and I just think he's fabulous. He designs architecture of weird pods. He designed an entire opera about 15 years ago. Yeah, that was just a spectacular visual stunning.
So he designed for Yes and
and opera and living. Yeah, very good. Hey, wow.
Well done.
Bringing them around. Get 1 point. Well done.
I did it. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, Danica, one question.
Right, my last question is, because we have to slide a little bit of the X-Files in here. I just want to know.
I can't believe we haven't talked about it.
Do you subscribe to any conspiracy theories?
Or is it swamp gas? No.
Yeah, I feel guilty now about being a conspiracy theorist in the height of QAnon crap.
Oh my God.
I know. It's like, is there a direct line from our show to the madness? But, and I always said, and in fact, we did a documentary called The Truth Is Out There.
Mm-hmm.
I had a camera crew follow me around, and we talked to all the researchers, Dr. Roger Lear, Nick Pope, UFO guys, Tesla guys, all of that, right? And the problem with being a conspiracy theorist is at the end, all you get to say is, I told you so. because if you're wrong, nothing happens. And if you're right, you go, aha, I told you so. There is very little effect. I mean, it's like 9/11. Was it an inside job or an outside job? Either way, it led to a war in the Middle East that's intractable and seems to be still ongoing, right? So, whatever.
The assassination. That's the other big one that I always go to is, grassy knoll. He wasn't in it alone, and CIA. And you go, yeah. So what if that is all true?
Right. I know. Then you still have a president who died, and then LGBT came in, and history changed. But you can't go, I told you so.
Well, the QAnon theories think that he was not dead. He is still alive, and he shall be returning very shortly. So if you guys want to meet up after this, we can head down to the grassy knoll. Right. We can wait for him. It might be a little chilly, but he's coming back, guys. He's like 90-something years old, but he looks great. He's, that's
So I know how conspiracies work, and I know if there was a anonymous guy coming up with all of this stuff, he would have been at the conventions right beside me 10 years ago selling books and cashing in on this. So there's no inside whatchamahoo. It's everybody's in it for cash, and that guy would have been front and center with a book and a pile of lines signing stuff. So that whole thing is the conspiracy. Now is the conspiracy. That's how long that's come up. So yeah.
Gas. Okay. we just need to clear that up.
Strong gas.
Yes, of course. Moving on. Love it. All right. Well, Dean, we do have a game. It's a game of Would You Rather. There is no wrong answers. And if you want to tell us why you pick something, that's cool too. And if not, that's fine too. So, Danica, do you want to read the first one?
Sure. All right. Would you rather be in an X-Files musical, which I found out is a real thing, with Ryan Reynolds as Mulder, or the X-Files musical with Sarah Chalke as Scully?
Aw, they're both lovely Canadians.
That's true. That's why we did that.
Who would I I saw that YouTube video of Ryan Reynolds singing.
He can sing.
Yeah, with Will, and it was like, hey, that's a pretty good voice on that guy. Whereas I don't know if I've seen a video of Sarah Chalke singing, but she's a fantastic actress.
They did do a musical version of a musical episode of Scrubs, and I don't know if she actually sang in that or not.
Oh,
I think she may have done a Rex Harrison and just kind of talked through it.
Fantastic, as I would do in Lone Gunmen. I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds on that one.
Okay,
fun.
We'll get him on the horn.
Musical. Yeah, no, there is an X-Files musical. It was done in Chicago, and it was students out of Bowling Green, right? In Kentucky, I believe, or in Ohio. It was
one of those Midwest.
Yeah, it was a grad project, and it worked so well that
it's so cute.
Yeah,
it's so cute.
Did you see it?
I've seen a good portion of snippets from it, and I went, damn it, I wish I would have thought of that.
Wow, damn it. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing it one day.
Cute.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, here's the next one, Dean. Would you rather be abducted by aliens or spend an afternoon picnic with Bigfoot?
Okay, that's a good one, actually, because if I knew I was being abducted by aliens, I would bring my cell phone and record it, because it seems very weird that, out of 45,000 abductees, according to MUFON, no one thought to turn on their phone and hit record at the time. Well, and some of those, of course, predate the iPhone.
Yeah.
But you would think, oh, hey, I'm having some sort of weird whatchamacallits. Where's my phone to record this? That would be something. So as opposed to an afternoon picnic with Bigfoot, I'm sure that would be sweet. I think he may eat a lot, so I wouldn't get my fair share of the picnic. I'm saying, so there might be, some question of portion size that I would have trouble.
Fair,
so
fair.
You just assume he's greedy? That's not fair.
No, I assume he's 7. There's a lot of calories needed to keep that physique going. I'm saying so.
Yes,
so
he's in his bulking phase. Totally understand. Yeah,
he's got to bulk up, and he's got to trek up and down mountains. Think how much work that is.
A lot.
Every day is thigh day for that guy.
Oh! Okay, so you're going abducted by aliens. You think you have your Apple Watch, but in reality, it's your wrist palette. And you're like, oh no.
Oh no. Guess I'll
I can paint this. Oh, I would clean air paint the interior.
Everybody hold where you are.
Hold.
Just stay right there. Hold on. I got this.
Yeah. I need some composition. If 3 of you could stand over here,
Yeah.
there, hold.
You need to come into the foreground a little more. Thank you.
I hear that they're very good at standing still. So they might be perfect. Just give them a treat. So,
okay.
All right. Danica Nixon.
All right. Would you rather compete on The Amazing Race with Tom Bradwood or compete on Fear Factor with Bruce Harwood?
Wow. That is tough. Because, Tom, he can run. You've seen some episodes where he runs and falls in the mud. And resourceful, that guy. But I think he might slow me down. I'm not saying he doesn't have dance training. I'm just saying.
But
he didn't go through a windshield of a 76 Cordoba, did he? So that over Fear Factor, Bruce, he is fearless. So I don't think he would have any problem eating any of those. Oh, no, he would have a problem eating, but all the other things, like he is very Zen centered. So him in a box with spiders over his head or whatever, I think he would not freak out at that. He would mentally be so precise that he could really do well on that one. So I'm going to go on Fear Factor with Bruce Harwood on that one.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Because I think he would be the ringer. I think he would do very, very well on that show because of his internal sense of calm.
Fair enough. That's what you need. Okay, fair enough.
That's what you need on that show.
Okay,
Yep.
Perfect. All right, here's the next one, Dean. Would you rather okay, have to eat Vegemite with every meal or have to eat poutine with every meal?
You guys did your research. So funny you should ask. I just had, and I'm not going to name the restaurant, but it was DoorDash, and there was a poutine thing on the menu, and it was terrible. The gravy, and the it wasn't cheese curds, it was like cheese whiz.
No. That's all wrong. It's all wrong.
It was so wrong. So now poutine is kind of ruined in my head until I get back to Ottawa and get to a food truck. Or Montreal. I got hooked on poutine in Ottawa back in the day. So as opposed to Vegemite, I've loved Vegemite since university. It is delicious. I could eat that stuff every day. It is vitamin B. It is super healthy. Everybody, because it looks like peanut butter, they always trick you with a big spoon and an open jar of Vegemite going, hey, would you like to try this? And you think it's peanut butter. So you stick a big salty mouth of goop in your mouth and you just go, oh, no. But let me tell you, get a bagel, toast it, and then just a light bit of mayonnaise, and then even a lighter coat of Vegemite with avocado on top. And oh my God, all those flavors heavenly open in front of you. It is magical and it's healthy.
Cooking with Dean.
Yeah. I was going to say the first time I tried Vegemite was on pasta.
Oh dear, who did that to you?
An Australian person. Yes, she said this is the way to do it. Yep.
That and the drop bear are two classic gags for anybody from off island that they do all the time. So there's no such thing as a koala that drops out of the trees and attacks you. They call those drop bears, and they think it's funny when they tell you that to you. They don't exist. No. And then the Vegemite gag of putting Vegemite on the very wrong things and making you eat it. So was it like actual clumps of Vegemite, or did they try to dissolve it?
It was pretty smooth. I mean, but I don't think she was kidding. Like, I really genuinely think this is the way that she
just has terrible taste.
I don't know.
Well, the problem is when you dilute Vegemite or, put it in a liquid base or something like that, it basically just turns into sort of a soy sauce bouillon.
I was gonna say something like bouillon.
Yeah.
I should also mention we are no longer friends. I don't know if it correlates, but it is possible. But I shall try with a bagel, mayo, and avocado.
Yeah, other people would say just do butter, and but I thought mayo counteracted the saltiness because it's a very salty treat, and but thin. You don't want to see. You want that color not even to be that dark. You want it to go like a light brown. That's how thin you want that. And my jar of Vegemite that I brought back with me, and I've been here 3 years now. I still have half a giant jar of it, so it lasts forever. And I'm still, do I eat it every meal? I don't eat it every meal, but I eat it quite a bit on all my bread products for sure.
Okay, done. I'm excited to try it.
You should. Yeah. The English have the Marmite, which is kind of it's a little darker. It's more like HP sauce. Sauce it's more that end of the flavor profile, whereas Vegemite is more on the salty its own and it's healthy. The other thing, it's very good for you. So there you go. Whereas poutine,
you make me excited.
Poutine will kill you. Will kill you in 3 meals of that.
I've seen it,
but it's so good.
I know it's so good, but it'll kill you.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I had duck poutine in Chicago. It was one of the greatest poutines I've ever had.
Where? What? I'm near Chicago.
There's a place called Fork, and it's in Lincoln Square.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm writing this down.
And also, if you haven't seen them, I just happen to be wearing a shirt from the Neo Futurists Theater.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't had a chance, definitely see their. It used to be called Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind.
Right.
And now I don't remember what the show is called, but if you look up the Neo Futurists, you'll see their show.
At the theater, what was their theater that? They weren't at IO. They were at the other one, right?
No, they're their own theater. It's like a weird little upstairs in Andersonville.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. They're also kind of like the chair that they've been running for a million years.
Yeah. I think not every city, but a lot of the more major cities have an improv group that's been around for a long time, particularly if it's profitable. Yeah. I mean, Vancouver Theatre Sports, their budget's in the 7 digits. So they make big dollars.
Well, don't bring the duck poutine to the improv show. That would just be you'd have to share it. Yeah.
I'm going to Fork right now.
Yeah.
It's so good.
For a spoon, so good. But all right, Danica, next one.
All right. Would you rather? Oh my goodness. This would be hard for me. Spend an afternoon painting with Dali or spend an afternoon painting with Picasso?
Very interesting. So I am a very big fan of both of them. And Salvador Dali, of course, has a technique where he goes into a mental state of, look at that.
It's the persistence of memory, but as the bronze statue that he did.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Anyway, go on.
I have a tattoo of E.T. I'm just sharing.
That's good. Sharing. Thank you. That's good. Salvador Dali got into a mental state that I would think was very alarming, whereas Picasso, got up at 11 in the morning, got around to painting around 2. A lot of it was so free flowing. It was like he was writing in his diary. So I would think, whereas Dali was always, as he said, imprisoned by the imperial necessity of realism. He always painted in realism, whereas Picasso was free to do his loosest brushwork and paint with light and all of that stuff. So I'm thinking I would do Picasso, also because of that southern France, his giant mansion studio, pretty nice,
and the lax schedule.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm saying Picasso on that one.
Okay, good answer.
That was a hard one though.
Yes. All right. Well, here's another one. Okay. Would you rather be cast as a DC villain or be cast as a Marvel hero?
Boy, that is tough. I'm gonna say because I'm in Pilates right now and the body work is very tough, I think I would have to get so cut to be a Marvel hero that it would kill me. So I would think as a DC villain, I could sort of snack on poutine, and
That's your thing, you
Right?
know. That's like,
yeah. In fact, that would be my villain name. I am poutine. I am poutine. I will clog your arteries, and in 20 years, oh my gosh, you'll be suffering.
whoa.
So yeah, so a DC
Whoa.
villain
Oh
named
my God,
Poutine.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
who has the power to occlude key arteries in your body.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
not great.
Appreciate you.
Oh man, that's such
Yeah.
a good answer.
I know, and a little Lipitor, and I'm defeated. That's the sad thing. It's not even just
Lipitor.
you Lipitor prescription. Yeah. True.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, this one kind of like goes with the last one. Go ahead, Danica.
Yes. Would you rather have super strength or super speed?
Wow. You think either one of those in my mind right now are a hindrance. Sometimes you don't want to be so fast that you finish whatever you're doing so quickly.
Fair.
The joy is in the journey, in the process. So if I ran to France, I would miss New York and the entire ocean. That's sad. That's very sad.
Is that
Whereas, is it? Well, the joy's not the journey, I guess.
The journey is the jewel.
Whereas super strength, the problem I have, if I'm not from a foreign planet, super strength requires, again, this is Pilates talking, just constant working out. And so you have to keep bench pressing a bus like every day just to stay in
Hate
shape,
it.
And then
Just
it's
takes
like,
so
it's
much
hard on the
time.
bones when you get to a certain age. It's like, it's creaky. And then it's like, do I have to hold that bridge together? Like, can't I just prop once or just tie it off?
So annoying. I know.
It's so annoying. So I
Like,
think super strength just would become annoying after a while.
Okay.
So I guess I'm going to say super speed, but I would try very hard to enjoy the journey along the way in a couple seconds.
But if you were like, I'm so hungry, I could really go for some duck poutine. You could be like, 1 sec, girls.
Yeah.
You go, you come back.
Bonk.
You're sitting here eating duck poutine right now.
I
You know what
know, but would I go so fast that the air would actually frictionalize against the poutine and burn it?
Probably.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Like the speed and air friction means that everything's heating up. So no matter what kind of takeaway I get, I would have it burnt by the time I get
You
back.
need a Chillpak.
Wow, that's exactly it. Oh, just a series of chill packs that burn off as I keep the food at a perfect temperature, running at high speed.
We got you.
Hey, Kit.
You're so
We
on
got
top of
you.
us.
Yeah, this is wow. Okay.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
gosh.
Okay.
It's a-
All right. We have one final one.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
This one's always my favorite.
Yeah, we love this one. Would you rather be a reverse centaur or a reverse merman?
Oh my gosh, both of those are terrible,
Yes, horrifying.
horrifying.
Yes.
Well, either way, I have an issue with my pants. So
We could provide you pants. Just
Oh.
this is just a visual. Yeah. You could have pants.
well, right. But again, if I have to wear pants and then
I don't know
I'm
how
in
you're
the
getting
water,
on and off.
yeah, there would be neoprene, I suspect, if I'm a reverse merman. So the reverse centaur, I mean, the mane, I guess I would enjoy a luxurious mane.
You did have long hair. It's
back in the day.
reminiscent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I would think I still have many of my hair products from the day that I could So I guess the reverse centaur or
Okay.
reverse merman.
Mhm.
I'm not sure who ever argued for a reverse merman as the way to go. I can't even think of a good logical reason why I would want that.
Yeah.
Hello,
Not that
breathing
I would want either
underwater.
one. What?
Breathing underwater.
Oh, yeah.
Or for all the times that you have to walk into the ocean and then continue.
Yeah, I got no problem scuba diving, so I don't think that's going to be a real selling point for me
Okay.
on the reverse merman.
Fair
Reverse
enough.
centaur, I'm sorry, I guess I got to go with that.
You could be in like a Godfather remake. I'm thinking of all the opportunities. There's like...
That's right. Oh yeah, the audition itself is terrible. That's the problem.
All you gotta do is lay here.
Yeah.
Great.
Just laying there. Oh yeah.
You got the part, sir. You're the only one.
Right. Oh, I lost it to that other reverse centaur. Same
I hate it.
audition. We're always at the same audition.
Damn it, Bruce.
Damn it, Bruce.
Oh,
Oh,
that was the end of our game.
Hey,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Unfortunately, thank you. Unfortunately, also the end of the stream. So,
Oh, well, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
So it's such a pleasure chatting with you. And
It's been
oh my
such
gosh,
an honor.
best of luck on your improv classes.
Thanks. I need it.
And best of luck on continuing with the lovely show.
thank you.
I hope you get 15 years as well.
Yeah, right.
We're trying. Before we let you go, we're going to go over our upcoming guests that we have coming up on our little stream over here.
Oh, yeah. Who we got?
So next Tuesday, we have Christopher Lee Parson, who is the voice of Junkrat from Overwatch. Terrible impression. He does it way better than me. Tuesday, February 15th, we have Ty Zamora from the band Alien Ant Farm.
Awesome.
And on Thursday, February 17th, we have Rikva from School of Rock. They were one of the kids, and we are so excited to have them. We have a couple other guests coming up. I think we just locked in Paul Zaloom from Beekman's World, which will be really fun. I'm so excited. We got some nostalgia going on. But Dean, this was such an honor. Hopefully we get to do this again. If not in person, X-Fest 3, putting it out in the universe.
Yeah,
happen.
I will be there as much as I can possibly be there. And I'm sure you'll find out all about it at all of the places that I am online. So there you go.
Awesome.
And maybe you should come teach this improv class instead of me. So come on down to Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Sure, I'll just
Do it.
Open invite. Well, until we meet again, we will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Yes, and
Happy February. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.